Hello and welcome to China Global Television Network. It's me and Billy again, going live to you for a third time in the past 2 days. We're still here in Litang County in southwest China, Sichuan province, 4,000 meters above sea level. This is also known as the city in the sky. Billy, welcome again to the show. And Billy is the English anchor with local television.
Welcome all the friends all over the world. And today we come to the 1st of October International Horse Racing Competition.
1st of October.
Yeah.
But today's not October yet.
That's how we traditionally call it, because this competition is established in 1964 and is around this period, because the 8th of October is also...
Actually, August.
Yeah. The
1st of August horse racing festival.
Yes.
For Litang County, for the Khampas Tibetan horsemen here in this region. We're hearing the crowds cheering behind us. What are we looking at today, Billy? We're seeing a huge crowd of local nomads, local herdsmen, and their beautiful horses. What are they competing today? It's not about speed, is it?
Yes, actually there are three different kind of competition, and today we are seeing horse riding skill competition.
So today is really the culmination of all the events in the past couple of days. Yesterday we saw Tibetan opera, and then last night we saw sort of like a modeling competition for the local Khampas Tibetan men. And this is the culmination of the celebratory activities for the August 1st Horse Racing Festival. So the weather is a bit disappointing. It was sunny just 10 minutes ago, but it started to rain. But look at the crowd around us, because this is really the second most important holiday for the Tibetan horsemen, right?
Yes.
Okay. We were told... It seems like there's a bit of a commotion behind us. I'm not really sure what's going on right now. So do you want to go outside and check out what's going on, Billy?
I know what's going on, because the first part of the competition, pick up Hada, just finished. So they're taking up a 5 minutes break, okay. And we can interview some contestants. And the next one will become horse riding in 5 minutes.
Okay, but that's kind of convenient for us, because if they're racing, we're not supposed to go to the center of the racing ground, right? But right now, I suppose we can walk around a little bit.
I have to check with the security force first.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, meanwhile, Billy just said that there are two parts of the competition going on today, and the first round. So, a while ago, there were a lot of silk scarves lining the ground here in this region. And what the Tibetan nomads have to compete against each other is that they basically have to dangle sideways like this on their horsebacks. So it requires a lot of core strength and a lot of strength on the thigh. And they're supposed to just... Billy is back. So I was just... Okay. So I was just, Billy, I was just explaining to our audience what the contestants just competed against each other. So basically they have to hang sideways on their horseback, right?
Okay.
And try to pick up we call it hada, which is a kind of a sacred silk scarf that the locals wear or give to their guests.
The blessed Bible.
Right, so they have to dangle sideways from their horseback once again and pick it up on the ground.
Yeah.
How dangerous is that?
Actually, each year there are people getting hurt, especially their back. And they use a special technique, a rope that hang with their leg and the horse riding pad. So actually, if they are accidentally the rope getting loose, the horse will drag them consistently on the way, because they actually tied with the horse. And some people really get hurt their back. However, all these contestants is really prepared. They know what they are doing, so that seldom happened.
Yeah, but we just saw two contestants just now falling off from their horsebacks.
Yeah.
And they're probably the best horsemen locally, right?
Yeah.
Where do they come from?
Actually, they are husbandrymen. They are just local peasants.
They herd yaks and sheep and things like that, right?
Yeah. They practice that, during their herds, the yaks. And have to be a little more specific. Not every horseman can play this kind of technique. Some of them can play the back standing. Some of them can play the hada pickup, but they are separate.
Okay, and just tell us a little bit about these Khampa Tibetans, local Khampa Tibetans. We're now not in Tibet per se. We are on the Qinghai Tibet Plateau because I think a lot of people don't realize that there are Tibetan communities outside of Tibet, autonomous region, right? So we're in Sichuan province. We're on the eastern edge of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. And the Tibetans here are known as, like we said before, the Khampa Tibetans. And you were just telling me that the Nazis came here in the 1930s to measure their skeleton to try to figure out what kind of a race they are, whether they're a superior race. Why is that?
Actually, I know that from the local museum. There are 10 local museums. One of them is called Travelers Museum, and they actually have the documentary photos of the Nazis, the journalists come to Tibet.
Right.
Because the Nazis, they actually...
Let's turn this way so that our audience can actually see their faces and their dresses. So go on, Billy. You were saying that you saw it in the tourist museum?
Yeah, because I see the Nazi photographers that is in 1910, they come to this region and they measure because the Khampa Tibetan are famous for their soldiers, so they want to find whether they are superior species like their own German species. So that's why they measure their skeleton according to their standard, and even Hitler himself traced the Khampa soldier back to that time.
So these nomads are actually looking at us right now. So if we just see their faces, to second what you just said, Billy, they have very high cheekbones. They have very well-defined jawline. They're typically tall. The average height is 181 centimeters. They're great warriors. They're great horsemen. They're great marksmen. They're known for their fierceness and bravery, right?
Yeah, and fighting skill during the ancient war.
And for them, I suppose, horse riding is glorious.
Yeah.
It's about honor.
Horse riding is their daily activity.
And so the skills that we're about to see in just a minute when the second part of the competition starts, it's earned really through a lifetime on the horseback, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think now we need to back off because we don't want to. Oh my God. Woo! Woo! See, that's what we're just talking about. Just hanging sideways from the horse, trying to scoop up things from the ground. I've never seen it before, Billy, and this is absolutely breathtaking for me. How do you practice it?
This part of the competition is the most difficult part. It requires lots of training and skill.
Right.
And why they have this? Because it helped them to avoid arrows during the ancient war. Actually, this is
oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, this is the reduced version. Actually, in the ancient time, they have upside down, back and forth, and even hiding under the belly of the horse.
Right,
because in that way, they can avoid both arrows and the cuttings from the enemy.
Right.
However, right now,
Well, we're seeing that horse is refusing to run for some reason.
for some reason.
For some reason. Ow! Can you make that sound?
Aha! I'm not
horse-
so professional.
The horsemen make. Yeah, we're gonna talk to some of the horsemen in just a bit to find out what that kind of. Wow. See, hear that again. And Billy, I'm realizing that they're also dressed so pretty, so colorful.
Because this is the festival, and you probably notice for this part of the competition, each contestant have a hada on their back. That is the symbol of their competition, because they have to lay on the back and even stand upside down on the horse. And they are like this one.
Right. So I'm just gonna look at the. Wow. Ow.
Yeah.
No, Billy, I'm completely speechless. How do they do it? How do they train for it?
They trained with tie both of the legs on the horse pattern, and they will practice that slowly while the horse are, walking. And generally, they will upgrade the speed till they can run.
So, Billy, I want to see a third one before we go outside of the circle of crowd to talk to some of the herdsmen. I do want to see another one because this is absolutely unbelievable. Do you think it has more to do with the horse, or do you think it has more to do with the rider?
It have everything to do with the rider. And since now the third one's coming, and with the camera go with the horse, you can see the horse riding man doing the trick again, and a little more attention was paying for
wrong.
his
This
back.
one went wrong.
Yeah, as the horse refusing to go.
Yes. And it's basically, the horse is basically stomping on the ground for some reason. What does that mean? Do you even know? Now it's running, it's going again.
The horse just adjust its speed because it have to be perfect partner with the horse riding man, so it just adjusts its own speed.
Right. So you were just saying it has everything to do with the rider, right?
Yes, of course. The horse, even though it's a spirit animal, but it have to train with the rider, and the rider have to control the strings and the speed of the horse.
So I know the camera right now is fixed on the riders and the crowd, but just to describe for our audience, my jaw is basically dropped to my chest. Their horses are beautifully decorated. The Tibetan herdsmen are dressed in their best finery, probably. They have all kinds of decoration on their costume, right?
Yes. However, today's decoration is quite different with yesterday Khampas modeling because they have to gain speed and modality during the horse riding, so this is much more flexible.
And who decides who wins?
Actually, that's what's mentioning. This competition have go on for 1,000 years, and this is the first year they have invited professional judge from all of the nation that to decide who is the winner, and it is the first year they give out a bonus, cash bonus.
Okay, how much in cash?
I heard the first one probably will get 30,000 RMB.
30,000 RMB, wow, that's a lot of money. If you divide it by 7, how much is it in US dollars? I'm so terrible at math. So 30,000 divided by 7.
So it's about
45,000? No, 4,500.
Yeah, $4,500 approximately.
Cash bonus for the first place.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even though this is the first year, the horse riding competition is so popular. Lots of contestants and audience come to here every year, no less than this year.
I've always thought that horse racing is all about speed. I've never known that you can do all sorts of tricks on horseback.
Actually, there are 3 different kinds of horse riding. The first one is 30 kilometers. Horse riding is a huge challenge for both the horse and the riders for their persistence. And the second kind is short distance. It's about 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers horse riding. That is a challenge for both speed and skill. And right now what we are seeing is only a skill competition, so it's not about the speed or resistance.
And so what do the judges look at to decide who's better?
Like today's competition is divided into 2 parts. The first part is picking up harder. Of course, is how much harder. The more harder you can pick up in one road, the better you are. That is for the first part. And the second part is the more difficult trick you can do on the horseback, the better you are.
Like what kinds of tricks?
Landing back and forth, going sweep sideways, and even stand upside down on the horse. And then the most difficult.
No, you're kidding. Stand upside down on the horseback?
Yeah, that is part of the
at full gallop?
Yeah.
No way.
Probably some of them can do it.
Well, what's going on?
Wow, look like our potential champion is coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why everyone all of a sudden got so excited.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do.
He looks like he's flying.
Yeah. So far, he's the best contestant ever seen.
Did you see that, Billy?
Yeah.
He just touched the ground 5 times while running at full gallop. That's impossible.
Wow.
And yet I just saw it with my own eyes.
Actually, that takes a lot of practice, and I want to share with the audience that in ancient times, like 50 years ago, the contestants can even do even more difficult tricks because that is a skill dependent life and death during the war zone.
Right. This is absolutely unbelievable.
Yes. And I would like to give you a little bit more specific insight. It's not that every touchdown counts. The judge only counts when the white hada touches down the ground.
Only when the white hada touches the ground.
That time counts.
Okay, just to for those of our audience who have just turned in, just explain once again what a hada is.
Hada is a sacred silk road that blessed by Buddha. Every Tibetan family will have it, give it to friends, honorable guests, and give the bless to the family member who going on long trip.
Right, so the white scarves that we saw are hadas. So if you visit any Tibetan family, they will give you the hada to show their respect and hospitality. And they are very hospitable people, right, Billy?
Yes, actually there are five different color of hada, and the white one represents the pure and the blessing,
Right.
and they also have the blue one, red one, yellow one. So all this together represent. They all represent a blessing and a fortune, but it gives to different. If you are a living Buddha, of course you get the rainbow hada combined of all the colors.
So the most common ones are white ones.
Yes,
Because
all
they also represent purity.
Yes, and if you are like a
His hat just dropped off. I think this contestant's hat just dropped off. Does that take anything away from your score?
That doesn't. They only count when the white hada touches on the ground.
Right, okay.
And whether you are safe on the horse, if you are totally fall down on the horse, of course your score will be totally cancelled.
Right. So is this contestant famous or something?
Handsome.
Oh, he's handsome.
Yeah.
And
Khampas, man.
talk about that. Khampa men are actually known for being handsome.
Actually, in locals' eyes, the more barbarian, the more fierce looking you are, the more handsome you are.
The more barbarian looking you are, the more handsome you are. They're quite dark skinned. And Billy, I don't know if my observations are correct, but I don't think the contestants, the crowd that we're seeing today, represent typical Khampas, because typical Khampas are supposed to be tall and well built. But the ones that we're seeing today are actually quite skinny and small. Is it because it's easier for them to ride a horse or run faster or do different tricks on the horseback?
Yes, because we have to take notice. This is a modern horse competition. It is not really the soldier on the war field. They want to win the bonus. They have to ride as fast as possible. So they have to be as light, as young as possible.
Right.
But if we see in the ancient time, the Khampas soldiers riding horse go to the war, so they are much more stronger and much more well equipped with the gears, weapons. So not like this.
Right. So if you're tinier, if you're smaller, if you're lighter, then that kind of works to your advantage when it comes to horse racing competition.
Modern
right?
horse competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Modern horse competition. Right.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a wild horse.
This one's refusing to cooperate.
Okay, actually, with the camera follow the horse, we can actually see in the distance. Oh, this horse is refusing.
That's no good. That's no good.
Okay, he's coming back. Okay. Actually, we can see in the distant mountain there is a golden temple. That is everything originated. The Changqing Temple monastery, right?
Right.
Is where
over
there in the background is where everything started. Actually, at the end of July each year, the living Buddha will coming to tour around the grassland. And after the living Buddha's tour, the local people will collect his blessing. Then that's where the horse racing started.
Right.
Yeah, and that is about 1,000 years ago. This tradition have keep going on, and in 1964, the local county has established the horse competition locally, and that's the third phase of this horse competition.
Right. I mean, horsemen across China's Tibetan regions actually hold horse racing festivals, right?
Yep.
But the one here in Litang is the most famous one.
Yeah.
It's actually world renowned, I think,
Yes.
because we're just as I was walking here, we saw quite a lot of foreigners' faces actually, because I think this horse racing festival here in Litang is becoming more and more famous and international. But I think we've seen enough of the competition. Billy, I do want to go out of the circle of crowd to kind of catch up with some of the contestants close up.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just go get our cameraman. We're going live now. 我们现在是在直播的，所以先给我们大家介绍一下你叫什么名字。Tell us a little bit about yourself.
哦，路上讲成谁的？你娘了？
卢章什么？
结成。
卢章结成。
对。
Are you going to join the competition? 你一会儿会参加比赛吗？
以后参加哪比赛？
你参加比赛？你是 When are you gonna change into that kind of elaborate, colorful costume?
我们这次完了，还是明年子吧。这次那边。
衣服什么时候换成他们那样的？
我们这次完了的，我们那边就完了的嘛。哦。是吧？
这样。
上午比赛的。
你He took part in the contest this morning. The 5,000. The 5,000 meter race. 你上午参加是5000米的速度赛。速度赛。
速度赛嘛。
Somebody just pushed me. Did one horse just go crazy? There's an element of danger here. Let me tell you. 速度赛的技巧是什么? What's important about when you compete in 5,000 meter races? What's the most important thing?
3000米的，有5000米的，有10000米的。
累不累? Is it exhausting?
不累，还是得行。
Not tiring at all. 名次怎么样? What place did you win this morning?
第几名？第一名，第二名。
没拿到奖。
Well, they don't typically speak Mandarin Chinese that well, so Billy is helping me translate everything into simpler Chinese so that they can understand. But Billy, can we just go out of the police cordon to kind of catch up with some of the contestants here? 你帮我们翻译一下. You have to come with us to translate with us from Tibetan into Mandarin Chinese and then into English. We're dealing with 3 different kinds of languages these past couple of days. And just you're not supposed to walk in the rear of the horse because they will kick you. Can we go that way to catch up with some of the contestants? How about that one? He seemed to be... Because just bear with us because we need to be super careful right now because the horses are very easily agitated and we don't want to do that. They're in a pretty excited state already, so we don't want to scare the horses. They can be quite dangerous animals.
Yes, and especially with a yak horn on their heads as decoration.
With yak horn on...
You see that?
No.
The second horse they have two yakko on each side of his
Go
face.
there. Can we go to see? Now I'm
Yeah,
seeing
be
it.
careful.
But that's. So our camera is going to get a little bit shaky right now. I'm holding the tripod right now to try to stabilize it a little bit, but it's quite dangerous for us to walk around these pretty excited horses right now. 能不能帮我们跟那个选手沟通两句？
可以啊。
啊，就这个就可以。
是这样。
嗯。
还有东西看一下，我走，喊他走一下。
OK。
找一下。
好，要得哈。
好，要得。But let's try to talk to this contestant to see if he can understand us, while walking very slowly and carefully around the horse. 你好。讲不了普通话 No, he doesn't speak Mandarin Chinese. 小伙子，你听得懂普通话吗？听得懂汉语吗？ He doesn't understand. Yeah, he doesn't understand Mandarin Chinese either. I suppose, Billy, I think most of the contestants wouldn't be able to understand us.
Yeah, they spend most of the time in about their horse and sheep, so they don't get much education.
Right.
That's why they are so good at horse riding.
But is it still typical today for nomads around this region to not get 9 years of?
Look at the yak hung on the horse. Okay. Well, actually, sadly, I have to admit, it's about 20% of the horsemen that didn't get the 9 years compulsory education around this region.
Right. So they still live the way their ancestors live, just on the grassland in a nomadic lifestyle. Is that so?
Not really. They have a cell phone and a language in Tibetan.
They have electricity too, internet.
Yeah, they do have that. We have 5G in China.
Right. But they still live on what, tents? But do they still live in tents on the grassland?
Some of them does, but the majority of them, thanks to the government poverty alleviation policies that build a permanent residence area for these husbandmen, and it provides this house for free. Invite these husbandmen coming to the permanent resident places.
Right. So I think our colleague Billy has just gotten us a local translator. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. How should we address you? 我们应该称呼您什么？
我来当中个安静人。
有没有简单一点的？ Is it an easier way to? Because you just spoke in a very long Tibetan name, which I. Shorter, 短一点的有没有？
你朋友咋子称呼你嘛？你朋友咋子称呼你嘛？
阿江。
阿江。
So this is 阿江. Thank you for joining the show, 阿江。谢谢你参加我们的节目。是这样，我们就是想在这个后台选手准备的区域，然后跟选手做一个简单的交流，但是我们跟他们没有办法沟通。不知道您能不能帮我们翻译一下？
我会翻译。
帮我们跟他翻译成普通话。
没事嘛，没事嘛，说几句嘛。
我给你找一个解释。
就找一个。没事嘛，我们先来嘛。我先来嘛。我翻到过来了。哦，要得，好的。
哦，要得，那一起嘛。Oh
my gosh! Look at the yakko on the horse mouth. That's dangerous. Hey, 扎西德勒。嘿。
我有一点害怕，其实。I'm a little bit scared. Is the horse very excited right now? 它这个马现在是不是很激动？在比赛的情绪当中啊。对。你参加了什么项目？刚才？那个是什么？就是刚刚那种的。哪种？可以给我们展示一下吗？现在 ？Can you show it to us？
它是剪好的。
剪好的。给你。 这个是需要
Right
这个
now
是
what
需
you are-
要练习的嘛 ？How do you practice it？
它那个送近一点
侧面这样掉下来
掉
的话，
下来的那个，
平时是要练习吗？
平时练习的，
怎么练习？
平时他们学的那边的。
嗯。
Right now, what you're seeing is the safe belt that tied on both the horse riding pad and the right man's feet. They have to tie the safe belt very carefully because the man will totally fall down. Okay, let's see the performance.
You need to have very strong abs for that, I suppose.
Yes, definitely.
Wow. To be honest, I am a little bit scared right now.
Yeah, because the horse are quite excited, and the yakon on each side of his mouth
Doesn't make
is.
his life easy. Wow. Woo! Bravo! 谢谢。扎西德勒。Thank you. 谢谢。So that's yak's horn that you just talked about?
Yeah,
on the horse faces?
Yeah, actually, in the ancient time, the yakon are much more bigger. It is to defend the enemy. Sometimes it's to hit the enemy's horse. Now it's just for decoration. So they use small yaks, baby yaks yakon.
Baby yak. So I suppose the Khampa warriors, the Khampas today are warriors more in spirit and less in deed, right?
Yeah, of course.
But they still take pride in their ancestry.
Yeah, that's their tradition. Everybody should take pride in their ancient tradition.
Right. And you were just telling me yesterday, Billy, that these horses can actually be quite expensive, right?
Yes, a good running horse, like for the technical competition, it's kind of okay. As long as they are familiar with the riders, it can ride it. But for the 30,000 kilometers horse, they are pure blood horses. Some of them even imported from outer Mongolia to get that price.
Right. So the horses that we're seeing today are not the best breed.
Because they are for skill competition, not for the long distance running or speed competition.
扎西德勒 Thank you. 刚才已经问过他了，我觉得他好像跟我 Billy's telling me to go interview the contestant that we just saw. But first, Billy, I can't seem to be able to really communicate with him. And second, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little nervous to be standing around
that horse.
Yes, that particular horse seems to be more excited than all the other horses here.
Okay. This horse looks calm.
This one looks calm, so can we go and try to see if we can catch up? 你帮我们翻译一下，扎西德勒，小伙子，你听得懂汉语吗？那你帮我翻译一下好吗？你帮我问一下他刚才对自己比赛的表现满意不满意 ？Is he satisfied with his performance just now?
你得了几分？得了几分？他不是报了分吗？得了几分
How much did you score?
7点几分呢？等等。
7.03分 So he scored 7.03. Is that considered high or low? 是算高还是算低？
还是高吧，应该算高啊。他是应该表现很。
So, right, so he performed quite well, and that score ranked actually quite high among the contestants.
Yeah, okay.
So he just walked away. I think they're nervous too because they want to score better in the contest. So it's probably.
Oh, he's preparing.
He's preparing for another round. Is the second round going to be different from the first round?
他那个就是跑第二轮的时候和第一轮会有区别吗？
什么意思呢？
就是他不是刚才跑了
对，
刚刚他跑了一次嘛，得了7.3分嘛，他再跑第二次会有些不同吗？
有些就看到有些就高嘛，有些是低嘛，
啊，
说不一定嘛。
啊 ，OK。
有
所以
3次机会。
有3次机会。So it's like every contestant have 3 chance. As long as you can perform, it's the same.
And do they take the top score among the 3 chances, or what's the deal?
一个选手可以跑3次是吗？
对。
那个他是3次中选分数最高的意思吗？
对。
是的，是的。
Okay, so they choose the top score.
Yeah.
They give you 3 chances and they choose the best score.
Yeah.
So do we want to go back to kind of see the contest for a little bit more?
Yeah, I think they are going to a second round.
Right. So we should probably go to the racing ground to see more of the races while walking very carefully around these colorful horses. Colorful and pretty yet fierce.
Yeah, fierce. Because they have to pop up energy to win the competition.
Of course.
Sometimes some of them even have 2 unicorn horses.
How old do you think these horses are? They should be fairly young, right? Yeah. Probably in their puberty.
Because I'm not a horseman, I don't really know the age.
Right.
But they must be quite young and energetic.
Let's see if we have any luck breaking through this. 扎西德勒。谢谢，扎西德勒。扎西德勒。So once again, Billy. So once again, for some of our audience who have just tuned in, we're here in Litang County, high on the roof of the world for a spectacular horse racing contest.
Yes, and welcome to the second round. And the horse and the contestants are getting much more faster and excited.
Yes, so the contestants today are supposed to demonstrate their horseman skills instead of just competing in speed. And I think another contestant is about to...
This is a kid we just interviewed.
Yes, I think so. While we were interviewing him, he seemed to be in quite a rush and just walked away.
Yeah.
After speaking a few sentences with us. That's because he has a second round to go.
And he's the second contestant come to the second round.
And we were just told that he scored, 7.3?
Yeah.
And that was considered a fairly high score. I think he has two more chances, right? And then the judges are going to take his highest score.
So he's putting everything he got to make a higher score. Ready, go!
Go! That's beautiful. That's pretty good. Yes.
Yeah.
And he stayed on the ground for quite a few seconds.
And I can't believe we just almost touched his horse. Oh my gosh.
No, I didn't. He lost his hat. So that's good?
That's very good. Because the longer you can stay on the ground, the higher score you get.
Oh, okay.
Because it's very challenging for both the horse and contestants.
Right. And I was just, for the audience probably can't see us right now because the camera is pointed towards the contestants.
He's running back, pick up his hat.
and he looks so happy.
Yeah, because he did an excellent job.
Yes, he's so proud and happy to have done such an excellent job. But I was just explaining to the audience that I was holding the microphone pointed towards the crowd to kind of let our audience take in the sound that we're hearing right now. That's how... Bummer.
Yes, that's what happened at live streaming. Some accident that just happened.
Happened.
So as long as about the scoring, Safety is the priority. So if you fall down of your horse, all the score is cancelled.
Yes.
And every contestant have 3 chances. If you fall down, that means you lose 1 chance.
Yes. And I think safety is important to the onlookers too, right? Because if you walk too close to the horses, then they get pretty worked up.
Yes, that's why when we get a closer interview to the contestants and the horse, we are quite nervous too.
Right. So, Billy, I think it's time for us to wrap up the show. The horse racing is going to go on for the entire afternoon, and later we're going to find out who wins the first prize. But that's all from us now. Thank you for joining us again, Billy.
Thank you very much. We will tell you who's the champion later.
Yes, and thank you for all the audiences joining us out there for this spectacular horse racing festival here once again in Litang County in southwest China's Sichuan province. Thank you and see you again.